Gets me every time.
A little bit of on the neck. I got that last time with Jake from Ballistic. I think he was a bit taken aback, personally.
Yeah.
He cried for a full half an hour before we could restart
I can't
filming.
remember that. No,
It was unreal. It was unreal.
That's nice.
Welcome to the second episode of our Series 2 of Time in Barrel.
Yes.
Very excited to be here. I've got some big announcements in a second, but I am one of your hosts, Papa Sweden. Back on the mixing desk for tonight. It's just the two of us tonight.
Just the two of us. No weg. That's okay.
Back on the desk.
Yeah.
You've got the desk on your side. How are you feeling, Mr. Panther?
I'm nervous.
Do you know where the Panther button is?
No, I don't have it on the desk for Time and Barrel. If it's a very serious episode, I still do have the censor button.
That's fair.
But I don't think there will be as many naughty words said during these episodes.
Who knows?
But yes, a little bit of a different layout now that we don't have the proper cam set up at the moment because it's a little bit too hectic. But hey, we're all still here.
Welcome to the
You
future.
can still see our faces. That's all that matters.
Now, how would I describe our next guest in the Time and Barrel series?
I don't know, mate.
It's been said, if you pour a bottle of DuPont out into the backyard in the spring morning sun and wait a few weeks, the spring will bring this man. He'll sprout up from the ground.
Oh, that's nice.
Look around. Bleary-eyed. And try and find something to fucking ferment.
Oh, God.
He's on the table and he's joining us for episode 2 of season 2, Time in Barrel. It's Casey from Sobremesa.
And I don't have the well button.
Brewing and blending.
Wow.
Welcome, mate.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for getting us on board.
Oh, mate, you're actually a WEG find from way back in the day,
Yes.
where he was very, very happy of himself. He found you on Instagram and he did some research and he was like, these guys, everyone's talking about these guys. Can we get them on? And we've been waiting all this time to do it for Time and Barrel to come back, and you're here. Very happy to have you.
Yes, very excited. Very excited.
Yeah, no, we're stoked to be on. We're big fans of the show too, so
Epic.
honoured to be on the Time and Barrel, and yeah, been a big information from the previous one, so yes, just good to be here.
I appreciate that. Well, we're hearing really, really bloody good things about you guys, so had to come on the show. I feel like we've started a bit of a theme with like new, fresh mixed culture talent in these first few episodes.
Yeah,
so
I think we hit a lot of, blenderies and wild ales that, have been around a little bit of time, but now it's some fresh,
casting the net.
exciting stuff happening.
Casting the net.
That's what we want.
Now, before we kick on to a little announcement I have, Pelly Panther, what have you been drinking good last few weeks?
What have I been drinking good the last few weeks? Managed to get away for a couple of days recently. Managed to get sick during those couple of days.
Unfortunately.
But I still needed to have some grog. So what I took with me was, did take a Hive 2, Blend 2.
How is the Blend 2?
I really liked it. I managed to get the honey this time.
Nice.
So I had that on some sourdough whilst drinking the Hive as well. That's a great time. The honey is beautiful. So sort of helped me sort of figure out what was going on, and I found that the honey was a lot more noticeable, especially drinking it.
The pairing.
Yeah, the pairing really helped, my little noggin figure out what was going on in the beer, and it's so complex, and I'm just like, no, this is confusing. But
Glad I got a Maggie. Very nice, very nice.
what about you?
I have been drinking Ocho 5 barley wine like it was pale ale and regretting it.
That's very dangerous.
That's naughty grog.
That's not good.
And I've also been hitting up the bit of the hairy troll action. So
Yes, the rye.
that is the problem with Ocho putting out 3 bangers in a row is I'm drinking them. So that's good. That's good. Casey, what have you been drinking good lately? What's been a highlight beverage of late?
I've been having a couple of the Snug, the Nitro Dry Irish Stout from Garage Project.
Oh, how is it?
It's good. Yeah, it's good.
We've been very keen on that. We've been eyeing it off online.
Given-
Pig Jug.
Given the winter coming around, it's been nice to tuck into a couple of dark beers.
Yeah, definitely.
Been drinking a lot of foam from Mr. Banks.
Yes.
Agreed.
We love
Agreed.
that
Yeah.
beer.
That's one of my favourite beers this year, just for drinkability.
Yeah.
I'm down to my final can, which is very, very sad. I might need to message you, Mr. Farmer. fucking banging beer. I got
That's a Kraken beer.
Yeah, I got their lager box, which I know I've raved on about multiple times, but it was just like 16 pack, $55.
Great value.
Great value. Foam in there. The Vienna lager. What was it? City Lager Life.
Yeah, Lager Life's good.
And the Alpine one. They're all bangers. Now, before we kick off into Time in Barrel, very excited to announce, we didn't have this to announce last week because it was so freshly baked, but Time in Barrel Season 2, very proudly presented again by Carwyn Cellars.
Wow.
In partnership with Voyager Craft Malt Australia. So massive shout out to Voyager Craft Malt.
Jeez.
They've come on board in sponsorship naming rights. We can't tell you what that means because it's going to be something really special in the near future. We're going to take a Time in Barrel brewer with us up to their facility, their malt house, the Witten Malt House, I believe it's called.
Crap.
And that's all I can say. So
Okay.
really, really stoked to have both, the Carwyn team, who we're big fans of, back on board this season.
Yep.
And Voyager Craft Malt Australia. Amazing guys up there. It's
been
very
terrible day on the desk not to load up the wow button.
Wow.
That's big news.
I had so many wows tonight.
That sucks. Wow. How about a grunty wow instead?
Wow.
Thank you as ever to our Patreon, and please at least tell me you got the Sip, Skip or Cellar jingle.
I do have the Sip Skip ready to go, but hey, we are on YouTube now. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Really helps out the algorithm.
It does help out the
and
algorithm.
us out. And we do appreciate you looking at our silly faces and Casey's face, which is quite nice. So
Yeah, and he has a lovely top on tonight. So
that's very
a bit of Kool-Aid action.
bit of perp, bit of purple.
A bit of perk, yeah.
That's what we want. Okay, let's get into Sip, Skip, or Cellar. Oh, okay. I got that right.
You're killing it.
That felt good.
Actually killing
before we get in, do we talk about this beer that we're just?
I think we're going to talk about it in a minute.
Ah, okay,
In the ep, as it were.
okay. I'm just very excited. It looks great.
It does look really good.
Now, Casey, I presume you do know how to play Sip, Skip, or Cellar, roughly.
I
Have
do.
an idea?
Yep, I do.
Good.
Epic.
So
I've heard
I'm
a
gonna-
couple of them.
That's good. I'm going to reel off some beers. A bit of a theme with this
Producer
episode.
M has hooked us up.
She has. She's doing a job, and I love that. Makes my job easier. I just have to read off a nice little sheet now, which is great. So, the theme of Sip, Skip, or Cellar this episode is the new, few weeks ago now when this comes out, but for us, the newly announced Magnificent 7 Carwyn Box 1. Carwyn have, really just knocked it out of the park with this box.
Heat.
I'm not going to go through all 7 because we might be here for a bloody long time doing that. But we've got 4 to go through, Casey. I'm going to kick it off with number 1, the Deeds Dark Motives Bourbon Barrel Aged Imperial Stout, 14.5 ABV in a deliciously sized 1240ml can. You're not getting one of those little barley wine cans. This one, you're getting a real deal can. And 2 barrels were hand selected by Deeds and the Carwyn team. And this beer is 100% exclusive to this pack. Emily, I think, put this on number 1 because I think she is very excited about it. And
I believe Emily's first show notes say Emily is frothing.
yeah, okay. Well, she didn't know she was going to participate in that kind of way.
I like it.
Look, this is the first bourbon barrel aged beer back from the team at Deeds since Into the Fray.
Big expectations.
And knowing how much I loved that beer last year, I will be cellaring. Well, I can't really cellar it. I might have to get 2 boxes, so I can cellar it. But I'll at least be sipping, trying to cellar if I can, Klimt.
I would be willing to pull out beer fuckboy moves to get multiple cans of this. Wow. I would be on the Cantillon phone call, ringing up being like, oh, I just really want to like collect this because I'm old school, and just like making those calls.
Just
to get
call
more.
JC. You've got his number.
No,
give him a call.
I can't do it to him. He's my boy.
I'm sure he has a couple of cheeky cans in the fridge somewhere in the cool room.
No, it's a Carlin box. There are rules.
Hey.
So I'm definitely a big sipper. I'm a seller if I could. I will definitely be buying a box when they are released. I would be on the temptation to buy 2 depending on the price.
Yes. Well, we would have probably bought boxes by the time this comes out.
No, I hope I'm enjoying them.
Me too.
I hope it's as good as Frey. I hope it's good.
Absolutely.
It's got to live up.
Casey, sip, skip, or cellar on this one?
I'd definitely be sipping that. I mean, Deeds do some cracking. Yeah, I'd definitely be sipping that by the fire.
Definitely.
Yep, let that warm up over a couple of hours.
I'm just super excited for their first bourbon barrel aged beer since Frey. It's scary. I like it. I wonder do you think maybe Frey comes out and it's very similar ABV and these are just Frey barrels under another name?
I don't know.
Who knows? I'm excited.
I'm sure there'll probably be another Frey coming
I'm
out at
giddy.
some point.
I'm giddy like a little schoolboy.
Anyway, let's move on.
Sorry.
I know it's exciting. I know we're fired up
Sorry.
already. But there's more beers in the pack. Just like a very good friend of the show now, Reese from Other Side with the Spanish Cedar barley wine. Yep, okay, sure. 11%, 375ml can. Don't expect the usual malt bomb of a barley wine. It's showing complex cedar fermentation characteristics. No doubt Reese had a part in this beer with all the love of wood that he has been throwing into his beers, like on the episode that we just released.
I think, his passion for unusual wood aging was very exciting. Cedar, I have no idea what that is going to do. Spanish cedar, 100% seller if I could.
Interesting beers, especially when they're thrown in with the big barley wine vibes, big stout vibes. Really,
I love the energy of this pack so far.
Yeah, I'm a sip as well. Casey.
Yeah, I'd definitely be sipping that. That sounds really, really interesting. Yeah, the cedar character would definitely play in a different way than your normal oak, and I definitely like a few barley wines, so I'll be sipping that.
Love it. That was a test. You passed. Good stuff.
Well, we do need a bit of a wedge in such a big box. And,
Lager.
I wish it was a lager, but hey, why not a Black Arts Dark Wild Ale with coffee and blueberry? 8 points. Oh, geez, it's a big boy. 8.6%, 330ml bottle, I presume? Can? I don't know.
I think they're all cans.
Okay, nice.
Black Arts can, remember?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, they do have those little stumpier cans, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. There you go. I answered my own question. The mature, this mature barrel-aged dark wild ale beer has been re-fermented on blueberry and coffee beans. Always lovely beers from Black Arts. Thank you, Em, for these little notes at the end. Sounds delightful, she says, and I agree. I think I've had a iteration of this maybe from Black Arts. I know they've done blueberries before, but I think it was blueberry and basil.
It was blueberry and basil, yeah. And
That was
fantastic.
great. That was a really good beer. So I'd love to see how the coffee plays in this darker wild ale. I will be sipping on this as well.
I think coffee and blueberries together, very smart.
Yeah.
I think Josh at Black Arts is probably one of my favourite brewers in Australia.
Yep.
So I would be sipping, cellaring, whatever I can do.
Yep. We'll only be sipping all these, unfortunately, but celery if we could. Probably. If we could. Casey, what are your thoughts?
I'll be doing the same. I'll be sipping that and cellaring if I could. Yeah, we're big fans of Josh at Black Arts, and we've got a couple of his beers in our cellar at the moment. But yeah, that sounds lovely, like a kind of coffee blueberry notes, and I'd be sip and cellar.
I think it might have been Three Ravens some time back, to digress, did a coffee blueberry beer, and I'd heard that coffee blueberry together can do some really good things.
Yeah, it'd be super interesting.
Yeah, I'm
usually
excited.
you'd probably think coffee and blueberry with maybe like a stouty sort of vibe. Like at least they've gone with a darker kind of vibe.
He's used his barrel-aged dark beer, which he's used for the cherry beer and a few other things. So, yeah, interesting.
That sounds bloody great.
I do like him. I do like him a lot.
one more beer from the pack, and I know there is 7, but if we went through all 7, we'd be here all night, and we wouldn't actually get to talk to bloody Casey. So this is the final beer that we're going to talk about tonight, which was the last one announced, collaboration with Garage Project, who we love, and Green Cheek. The only,
Green Cheek.
Yeah, little collab. They love their US collabs.
They do.
This is the only international beer collab in the pack, or pack 1. I think there's a pack 2 that has
all
international stuff. This beer is called 2 + 2 = 5, triple New England IPA. First time we've ever seen these two pair up. We don't get Green Cheek beers in Australia that I know of. I would like some more. Well, I had some at Carwin for the Gabs weekend. They had it on tap, and wowee, that was bloody delightful. Cold IPAs, how do we feel about those? I think they're all right.
Won't start that debate.
No, but it's triple IPA to knock your socks off right at the end of the box.
Sippity sip. I reckon.
I'll be sipping.
It's hard to
on
argue
that.
with this pack, to be honest.
They did have a triple Green Cheek IPA at the Carwin night as well, and it was the first triple I had in a while. I was like, wow, this is actually really delicious. And I went back for another one. I haven't been hitting triple IPAs in a long time.
Yeah, you got that small Jen Taylor energy, monster.
I do. So, yep, definitely a sip. I will not be cellaring this one. I definitely want to wrap my lips around it, though. Klimt.
Yeah, I'll give it a try. Sip. I mean, the whole pack.
The whole pack's great.
I think there's a few more, but the whole pack's great. Hats off to Carlin. They literally have got everyone to really unleash.
That's right. And Casey, how do you feel about a triple IPA?
I'd give it a sip. Yeah, I'd give it a sip. To be honest, it's the least one I'm fired up about, but...
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, agreed.
Very, very good. That is it for Sip, Skip or Cellar. Why don't we actually have a chat to Casey about his beer instead? That sounds right.
Now that I've tasted this, yes, please.
Yeah, well, we'll very quickly touch on that, I'm sure. Here we go. I do have appreciation for Weg when he's here to help out with the desk. I forgot that I have to be so multitask. I'm like, oh, yep, I remember got to press the old button over here and over there. Casey, now, before we actually get into some real questions.
Agreed.
I just had a sip of this as well. Coexistence, we've just opened on the table here. This is very unique.
This is one of the most interesting beers we've had on Time in Barrel.
Definitely. I'm just going to read what's on the label because you're going to talk to us about this beer because it's amazing, and I don't know too much about it. It is a barrel fermented saison aged on local Muntseed lavender and wildflower honey. Wowee!
It's firstly, dude, it's super impressive.
Yeah, it's very, very complex. I don't even know what's going on. This is great. Please tell us a little bit more about the beer.
Yeah, thanks very much. Glad you enjoyed it. That's our barrel fermented saison aged on local Munstead lavender and wildflower honey. So we went up to a lavender farm in the Yarra Valley called Warratina Lavender Farm and got some of their dried lavender because we're always sourcing local everywhere we can. And we got some wildflower honey from a local company called Apiary Made. And she's got some hives up in the Yarra Valley, and we racked our saison on top of both of those, and let them condition for 3 weeks before bottle conditioning. We're really happy with it. We kind of get inspiration from Antidote over in Belgium, and
nice.
It's for anyone who hasn't had it, and this is the first time I've had it, like first few sips, I was sort of like a bit taken aback. The lavender and honey together are really just super delicate and balanced. And I mean, it's fairly, it's 5.9%. But yeah, it tastes like, to me, I had a lot of lavender plants around our family farm, and to me, it tastes like springtime, like that spring, summer lavender. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I would have
thank
thought,
you.
like, just off, like, reading a label, you know, you've put lavender in a beer, that I feel like it could be quite, like, polarizing for a lot of people, but also quite, it does give a very intense aroma, but on the actual palate, it's not. It's quite delicate. I'm like, oh, it's actually quite well refined. But is it quite a powerful, like, strong adjunct to sort of use, would you find?
Yeah, we do. We had to use about 1 gram per liter. It's a very powerful ingredient,
Yeah.
and it turns into soap very quickly. I think some people perceive it as like a soapy character. So, to be honest, it was far too intense when we bottled it, and so we had to wait about 3 months. Yeah, we waited over 3 months before I was happy with the lavender character, and the Brett had kind of taken over and it had softened out a bit. But now it's really come into its own, and you get a lot of it on the aroma, but like you say, it's quite subtle, and floral on the palate, and the honey kind of drives it.
Yeah, I think it must be the honey that, like, the pairing, because it's just got this almost like, I guess, like a really elevated lolly. As weird as that sounds.
Yeah,
like,
no, I
it's
get
like,
what you're saying, though, yeah.
like a really, I can't describe it. I just can't stop sipping it.
Yeah, it's I've never had anything like it, and that's so bloody amazing. I think that's why we're just like, going, oh shit, like, oh god.
Yeah, it's an absolute cracker.
Yeah, you get that little bit of Brett, but that honey comes through quite late. You sort of get lavender right up front, and then it all sort of comes together.
It's like the opposite to the wildflower hive stuff. This is like super delicate, tastes like spring. And the wildflower hive stuff, it's like end of summer, heavier.
Yeah.
Both great in different ways. Awesome. Love it.
Well done. What a start.
Thank you. Yeah, cheers.
Yeah,
man.
so Casey, let's get stuck into your origin story. So, like, where does your brewing story start? Can you give us a bit of a origin story, if you like, and how you came into this wonderful world on mixed culture?
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I've always grown up around the vineyard and the winery. My dad's a viticulturalist, so I kind of, fell into the winemaking scene in about 2013, and spent a couple of years chasing the harvest, being a cellar rat and just trying to soak up as much information as I could. I ended up studying enology, which is like the science of winemaking, before I moved over to Melbourne. I should say I'm originally from New Zealand. I'm not sure if you can. Not sure if you can. Not sure if you can hear the accent, but moved over to Melbourne, and then I kind of just wanted to chase more experimentation. The wineries I was working at were quite commercial, and wanted to do something different. I'd been homebrewing for a couple of years. I mean, I didn't have an extensive homebrewing background, but I felt a lot of the science and the production techniques could be pretty easily translated. So started.
How funny for like someone coming up in the commercial sort of vineyard background to then become obsessed with Brett, like the enemy or commercial wine. They must all really enjoy that you did that, or not want you to come into their vineyards anymore.
No, exactly. I'd probably have to burn my shoes. It's quite interesting. Yeah, like you say, because especially from that background, that's like a taboo subject. You almost don't want to breathe the word on the pumps. Came to Melbourne, was looking for a job, and I started brewing at Bad Shepherd commercially there for 2.5 years. And then I kind of outgrew that style of beer, and was always searching for this kind of more natural, a bit funkier, a bit more abstract style. So my partner Hannah, who's also one half of Sobremesa, she's the branding and the marketing. We both moved over to Canada, where I worked at a little mixed fermentation brewery there called Bar Hop, and I guess that was where I really stuck my teeth in and started. I mean, I always had a love for these styles, but that's definitely where I elevated what I could do with that, and and then brought it back over to Melbourne.
Wow.
How good. How good.
Very, very good.
And did you say earlier when we were chatting that you were brewing at the same time as running all of this?
Yep. Yeah. I'm brewing full time at Bonehead.
Yep.
Bonehead Brewing out in Kensington. Yeah, good little spot, good beers, good crew.
Got a Steppy Award
I was
this
going
year.
to say, congratulations on your Steppy Award. That's amazing.
Most improved. It
Yeah,
was very close in the Nationals too.
Yeah, well, I can't take the credit for that because I only
Oh, you can?
I only came on in December, but so I'm brewing there full time. Hannah's working full time, and then we're pumping this out as much as we can.
Yeah, how good.
Nice little fun project on the side.
Yeah.
Tastes like more than a fun project. Tastes
Yeah,
like
no.
something special.
Yeah, a passion project, you can say. Passion project. No, very good. So, obviously mixed culture is a big love of yours. So do you have any influences, the people, the brands that sort of inspired you to start doing these mixed cultures?
Yeah, I've definitely got three big time influences. One is definitely Wildflower. They constantly blow me away and kind of, I don't know, enable the fact that you don't need a brew house. They really made that whole side of blending commercially viable, and that's what we're doing. Jester King. I love what they're doing, all their beers, and Jeffrey's just an absolute don in what he does, and quite inspiring with what he does with the land. And then Della Sen would be our other main inspiration from Brussels.
Oh.
Yeah, wow.
I'd like to get to Brussels. That would be nice. Maybe.
So would I.
Yeah, hopefully. So
I think everyone would.
That's right.
It'd be interesting to look back in 10 years and think how many of the next wave of mixed culture brewers, like we include you in this, were influenced by what Topher's pulled off in New South Wales. I think, that was maybe, very side note, but part of the thing that influenced us to give him Brewery of the Year was just the impact of that brand and pushing to do things differently. And a couple of times it's even made me think about brewing mixed culture beers, and then I've slapped it out of myself and it's been fine. But it's amazing to think the impact he's having on brands that we don't even know about yet, and now that we're just learning about tonight with you.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know, that proves that a brewery can take no compromises and do what they want and still succeed even with a niche product.
Yeah. Now, Casey, obviously, Sobremesa is a very new. You've only just had a few beers starting to come out now, which is great. But are you, with the influx of many new mixed culture, wild ales coming around in Australia, are you finding it hard for yourself as an Australian, new blendery to find a bit of an identity and a personality of your own, just to not to be a little bit the same with other mixed cultures in Australia?
I think touching on the subject before, I think as a saison brewery, we've been lucky to come in at the time when people like La Serene and Boat Rocker and Dollar Bill have already kind of done the hard yards. They've already gained the trust of the consumer, and I feel we're lucky to come in now that saison is being drunk a bit more. But I don't think we're struggling to find our unique identity. We're just doing what we want to do, and I think we'll continue to do that, and not really follow any guidelines or strict protocol.
I think that's the thing I've been thinking of a lot lately. And I know you said you were a fan of the time and barrel stuff we've done. You wouldn't have heard the latest one, the one before you, which is Jake out of Bunker Project, so Ballistics Bunker Project. He talked a lot about, and I don't know if he said it explicitly, but he almost seemed like he was saying it, that they sort of looked to become something and then accidentally stumbled on something else. And they talked about quite a interesting climate in Queensland, trying to do this kind of stuff, and stumbling on this sort of huge, bready, tropical character that wasn't what they set out to do, but then once they started embracing it, was kind of their thing. Do you think in Australia, because you guys in the scene, and I put you up with, Dollar Bill and all these other guys, you're sort of trying to almost forge your own identity? Like if I said to you, Rare Barrel, straight away, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like an American-driven, mixed culture sour. If we brought up a Belgian brewer, you'd know what that was all about to an extent and through the different pockets. Do you think the Australian character for mixed culture has been set already? Do you think Wildflower have set it, or is it just a thing that's going to evolve?
Deep question, Clint. I like it.
I think it's definitely going to evolve. I mean, there's a lot of exceptional producers over here, and I think we're kind of lucky that we're not tied down to any strict traditions or procedures. We don't have to follow any strict guidelines with the brewing, and there's not really any limits. We've got a whole bunch of great ingredients over here that doesn't grow anywhere else. So I think people like Wildflower, Last Ring, they've definitely set the bar, but there's plenty more room.
Yeah, agreed. I think I think that almost that unique Australian character, like you're seeing little pockets of it, and it's popping up in different influences. But at the same time, I could say, Van Diemen, I could say 2 Meter Tall, the Lone Gum stuff, which we haven't had, and then Wildflower and Dollar Bill, and like what it is, but it's all still discovering itself in a way. I think not being constricted and not trying to be the Belgians is actually working in our favour so far. Whereas when we first started this series, I thought everyone's going to talk about emulating them. And what we've found so far is everyone's just like, well, we can take a bit of this and a bit of that and, fucking whatever else between.
Kind of is the Australian way in a way. Just doing what you want.
It is.
That's great.
We are one, but we are many.
Yeah, oh God, no.
Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about cultures. So, you're operating in a tiny space, you told us. Was it 36 square metres?
Nah, it's about 10.
About 10 square
Yeah.
meters. So you're operating in this tiny space. You mentioned in our early chats, over Instagram and stuff that, barrel fermentation is key for you guys. What is, if you were going to describe, Sobremesa to another brewer, what would you describe it as?
We've kind of, when Han and I were talking about it, we want to, at the end of the day, it's all about drinkability, and I enjoy having a pint as much as the other person, and I want our beers to be, we say complex if desired, but you can just enjoy it if you want. You can break it down, or we hope that the flavors are, nuanced enough that the average Joe can still, have a schooner of it or have a glass. The name's like a Spanish word. So Sobremesa, the literal translation is around the table. So we took a cultural definition where it's the time spent around the table after lunch or dinner, where you're still chatting, you're drinking, and you're enjoying the company and what's going on. I guess it's like the Australian word for kick-ons. But
sexier kick-ons.
Yeah.
It's definitely sexier, yeah.
But yeah, that's what we want. We want these beers to be enjoyed if you're sharing them or having it at home, and we hope that they can spark some conversation between people.
Yeah, definitely. I think the learning more and more about this scene, and especially the beers that are starting to come out and be pushed, like Topher's Table Beer, which we talked about thousands of times. The Bunker Project, they put out a Grisette as one of their first beers. Yeah. These kind of beers are like perfectly suited to our climate, excluding perhaps Tassie for most of the year.
Hey, mate, we get maybe 2 months of,
Yeah, and maybe Melbourne every third day when the footy's on. But they're actually like some of these beers, and it really resonated with me when you said before about like drinkability, but you can ponder it if you have to, and if not, you can just enjoy a pint of it. Like these are perfect for Aussie palates. Like I know we're very new to this, but these are actually perfect like drinking beers.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, there's nothing better on a hot day than something that's dry and crisp and bitter and has a nice amount of aroma going on. So I think, yeah, it's a young market, but I think there's a lot of potential if people give it a good shot.
Absolutely.
Now you mentioned the word bitter, and you said you do like a bitter saison. Tell us a bit about that, about the approach, because I don't think we've particularly seen in Australia a real push to that sort of
No, not at all.
XX bitter sort of direction. And I know that there's some very, very excitable Patreons that are wanting someone to do it and have spoken about it before in our chats. Are we going to see, hop forward saisons from you?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what we're focusing on. We're a small part of our barrel program has been inoculated with bacteria. But we've got 12 barrels. Two of them have bacteria, but the other 10 are just straight saison yeast and Brett. And to be honest, a lot of the bacteria wouldn't even survive in those barrels given the IBU. Most of our beers are between 30 and 35 IBU. But yeah, we're focusing on dry, crisp, funky, bitter beers because that's what we love to drink. And I think the style is a little bit misunderstood because when you think farmhouse, or even to extent some people when they think saison or wild ale, you immediately think it's going to be sour.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's and it doesn't need to be. I recall there's a quote from a brewery in Chicago called Off Color, and they make similar kind of saison mixed fermentation. But they've got a slogan saying "wild does not mean sour," and I
like it.
I think that's where we're headed. The sour program of the sour portion of our program is very small compared to the bitter like Brett saison territory.
That almost is a bit of a point of difference, sort of. There is a lot of sour wild ales in Australia at the moment, where stuff like this, a lot of new beer drinkers will be like, well, I was expecting this to be sour. Like, what's going on here? And
maybe because of that current focus.
Exactly right, because they're not quite used to all this kind of stuff. Where I actually had my first saison, a couple of years ago now, because I'm still a very new beer drinker, and I was like, and I'll admit, like I was exactly thinking the same. I'm like, oh well, this is going to be another goose or something like that, and I was like, oh, it's actually dry, a little bit funky, like refreshing.
Made for like ultimate drinkability in a paddock.
But it just like it wigged me out for a good second there, going, oh. And then, I've been smashing them ever since because they're bloody delightful.
I'd say you drink more of them than anything else now.
That's right. And may I say, this is the one I did have. And
you've had this before, haven't you? Because I saw you watching me taking a sip.
Yeah, Ryan from The Great Beyond in Coburg sent me a couple of bottles. One which I have open, and it was this one, the Saison with peaches.
Introspection?
Yeah, well, your English is as good as mine, my friend. Whatever you say, I agree. And I will say, Casey, I had a big smile on my face when I had a first sip of this. It's delightful beer. Delightful beer.
I actually get a real feel for you guys from those two beers next to each other, and you talking about your direction and dry, bitter saisons. Yeah,
and you just get that nice little sweet, peachy vibe coming right in at the end.
That's very, very good.
Little bit,
beer.
just a little bit jammy, and I like that a lot. It's great fruit. Might as well ask you while I'm talking about the fruit right now, Casey, is like, what is your philosophy on the process of your fruit? Is it whole fruit, obviously, or is it, puree, whatever it is, do you try to emulate with the Belgians with the fruit, or do you sort of go your own way about it?
Thanks for the feedback on the beer. First of all, glad you guys enjoyed it.
We would tell you if it sucked, but
I hope you would, mate. Yeah. Now
and the label's beautiful with the table. I like that a lot now. Knowing the meaning of the word, because I googled it this afternoon.
We always use fresh whole fruit, straight from the orchard. I mean, I don't think.
Lovely.
I
noticed you've named the orchard too, which is great.
Yeah, so we're working with Rainer's Orchard out in Wurri Yallock. We've done 5 fruit beers now, but two of them are still in bottle. So we're just working with him. You know, it's been really good to just go out to the farm and kind of have a chat and tell him our needs and what we want. I mean, we're not involved in picking the fruit directly, but we definitely have a say. And
it would be so much better if you picked it in your own fruits.
I mean,
I'm sick of these fucking brewers not picking their own fruit.
I would like to, mate, but
no one's got time for that, mate.
Yeah,
except for them.
I rang Topher the other day, and he was like, "I'm at the side of the road picking pears off a tree," and I was just like, "That's enough, mate. You've had enough."
So we have a say. We kind of go for fruits that are high in acid with a little bit of sweetness, especially because the majority of our barrel program isn't acidic. A lot of the acid from that fruit will come from either the bacteria residing on the skins or just the natural acidity from the fruit. And that peaches, this whole release with introspection and reflection, which is the one with nectarines. We were just trying out different techniques. You know, we tried out an old winemaking technique called carbonic maceration with the peaches, where you leave the whole fruit in a purged CO2 environment under pressure we left that for a week, and the cells slowly start to ferment inside the skin. So we did that to just kind of see how that would play out, and two, we really wanted to try and pick up some of the residual microbes from the skin before putting our saison on. We fruit directly into tank. We've got 4 little 100-liter tanks that we process the fruit into. Purged, like I say, and then rack the barrel fermented saison on top. And we left in that particular one. We left the beer on the fruit for 2 months.
Yeah, wow. It's deliciously subtle, crushable, dry. Finish is beautiful.
I'd love that on a hot summer's day. I wanted it on a very cold, crisp East Coast winter's day as well. That's how exactly I drank mine. It was still delicious, still great.
Now your approach to cultures. You talked quite a lot about Brett, and I guess sort of the small barrel stocks you have. What's your sort of approach to gathering those cultures and building up? We're essentially talking to you at the start of what hopefully is a very long journey, and at one stage you'll forget which barrels you have, I hope, after tasting these beers. Mm-hmm. How are you maintaining those cultures? What's your approach to cultures? Are you happy to take dregs from someone else's bottle and put it in a barrel? What is your philosophy there?
Yeah, so we take a couple different approaches. Most of our Brett bacteria yeast is all commercial. We buy homebrew pitchers and grow them up. Especially for primary. We've got about 5. I've got 5 corny kegs that I just cut off the dip tube, so I never take the residual yeast at the bottom. And then we just feed that into our barrels, or when we're bottling, and then always just top it back up. So those 5 corny kegs are about a year old now, and I've just been taking Brett out, never completely emptying it, and then just topping it back up with finished beer. We get really good results with that. I mean, it's always under pressure. So as long as you're sanitary practices are good. Like you'll never be introducing something you don't want. And then yeah, we've got a couple of 500 litre puncheons, which is the barrels that we've purposely inoculated with bacteria. And yeah, it's one of those is free for all. Every time I drink a good beer, I flame the top and pour it in.
Yes, yes.
I've seen that in person. It's great.
You've seen that on this table.
Yeah, and I don't know. I guess people have different opinions about that, but I don't think it's proprietary. I mean, they were all wild, so
Yeah, yeah. I like that Australian approach, and literally every guest we've had on has been like, yeah, fuck it, I poured this into here, I don't care.
yeah. I mean,
If the grog tastes good in Josh from Blackheart's words.
yeah,
Which it
exactly,
does.
exactly. We're not going to put the brewery on the label, so to be honest, I don't really see any problem with it. And I personally would be stoked if someone was pouring our dregs in. So I don't, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't see
Well,
it as a problem.
I know a few brewers from our Patreon who have taken dregs from different brewers we've had on the show and even presented those beers to those brewers. So I know one of those guys will be very horny to get some dregs out of these bottles, which I was just eyeing off before.
Where's the flame, mate?
It's just not my jam.
No,
I don't have the patience
I couldn't
or the
see
skill.
I couldn't see you doing it.
I don't have the patience or the skill to do mixed culture beer. Do you think you're going to sort of attack some wild cultures amongst that, or is it just using the space you have?
Yeah, I think further down the track, yeah, I'd definitely like to, maybe isolate some cultures from fruit trees, or try and capture some bacteria and yeast. But at the moment, I mean, that's not in our focus. I definitely enjoy the idea, but we're just focusing on what we're doing right now. Yeah, with the space that we have. I'd also love to do spontaneous fermentation down the track.
Nice. Yep.
But again, yeah, in good time. I mean,
Yeah.
I've never really experimented with that, so I mean, it'll be yeah, like I said, I'd love to do it, but that's not the focus of us at the moment. We're just
Maybe when you go and pick the actual fruit yourself, you might be able to pick up some
Yeah.
cultures while you're out there. I always see it. For some reason, like I think of spontaneous captures as like someone with a net, like trying to catch a butterfly or something in a field. That's how I envision it. It's really strange. I just needed to air my thoughts on like how I envision how someone's doing
If you
that.
remember back, Topher did teach you how to do one.
Did he?
Yeah, he
I
did.
can't remember.
Anyway.
So many guests.
Do you think you're too important these days? Do you think Casey, and you know this question's coming because you've listened to Time and Barrel before. Do you think that wild captures and cool ships and spontaneous beers are just overly romanticized?
nah. I think it takes a lot of knowledge, process, timing, the correct environment to make those styles of beer. And no, I think that's one of the greatest representations of brewing in my eyes. Yeah, I don't think it's
Yeah,
I don't think it's overly romanticized. I mean, maybe. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Maybe
go for it.
maybe it's overdone and sometimes done poorly, but I think when done properly, it's phenomenal what they can achieve.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're very lucky because we get to see, Will down here at Van Diemen Brewing, who has, the whole farm and has the cool ship that he literally chucks on the back of the tractor and wheels out, and we get that.
That is romanticized, isn't it? In a way,
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my god, what's going on?
But I say that to elicit a reaction because we do see brewers, carrying out cubes out into the bush and having a few beers around the fire, which I'm saying it to get a reaction, but I'm fucking all about it because it's heaps of fun. But yeah, when we get to see, we'll post up the temperatures that are happening in Tassie at the time. He'll post it the day before, and he's like, "Look at this temp curve. That's perfect for a spont capture." Then that night, you'll see he'll be posting a video of him with a frothy on the tractor driving the cool ship out into the paddock. Like it's hard not to get a little bit involved in that sort of stuff.
Yeah, much respect to Will Van Diemen. I mean, he's the epitome of brewing. You know, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
he's getting to do what all you guys want to
Yeah,
do
exactly.
that don't have the farm.
Yeah.
So
No, it's amazing. You know, I've got full respect for those all estate saisons and the all estate like lambic inspired fruit beers. I think that's incredible.
yeah, definitely. Now, in terms of brew house and batch size, I was going to ask you to go into some detail on that, but I mean, you guys are so fresh, like you're operating in that tiny space. I assume that you're getting your wort, you're doing that over at Bonehead, or you're brewing that on site on something smaller.
No, we're brewing that. We're brewing that at Bonehead. Yeah, so they've got a
Yeah,
they've got a 12 hex steam operated system.
beautiful.
Yeah, which is good. So it's got a lower steam jacket and a upper steam jacket, so we can do anywhere from 500 to 1200 liters in there pretty comfortably, which is good because the 500s are predominantly where we want to be to try and create a bit of variation in our barrel program because we've only got 12 barrels, so if you start doing 12 heck, it can easily be filled up with the same beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got 12 barrels. Two of them I mentioned before, 500 liter puncheons. We've got I've got 4 puncheons. We've got 4 hogsheads, 300 liters, and then we've just got 4 barriques. We just run a gravity 4-head filler, like one of those Maury Italian ones. Hand cap. It's quite funny on bottling day because we don't use pumps, so the variable capacity tank is almost hitting the ceiling with a long hose coming down.
Just bring the forklift over from Bonehead.
Yeah. The roller door's definitely shut there. WorkSafe's not coming in there. So we got that. Yeah, we've got, like I said, we've got a VC, which is our little blending tank, which is where we rack our barrels into 600 liter. We've got a bunch of little 50 liter firm Zillas from Kegmenter. I couldn't rate those enough for the price. Yeah, a couple of 400 liter fruiting tanks, and the cornies for the Brett. So yeah, pretty small little setup, but I mean it's everything we need, and we kind of purposely bought things that we can grow into. So at the moment,
Yeah, definitely.
at the moment, the bottling line and stuff's not getting utilized as much as I'd like, but the hope is that it'll be under the pump in the next 12 months.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
It all takes a bit of time, doesn't it?
Well, I was going to say, very, very tiny side note. The Brewers excise remission, do you guys get that? Does that affect you now?
No, so we won't get that, unfortunately, because we don't have a
That's a change that's got to happen in the industry. I think.
we don't have a producer's license. So it means we don't.
I suspect.
Yeah, we don't fall under that category. We've got a pre-retail, so we'll still pay excise, but
Understood.
that's cool.
Yeah, it is very side note because I've got a financial background. It is a change that needs to happen in the industry because it would support a massive amount of growth, and it's something I am very passionate about and hope to become more passionate about in the near future. Anyway, side note.
Casey, just touching on now the blending side of things. When you are blending, is it just yourself when you're tasting the blends, or do you have a bit of a panel of tasters? Is it just you and your partner? Can you touch on that? What kind of palates do you need around that table to get the final result?
Yeah, it's just Hannah and I.
Yep.
Yeah, she's got a great palate and a great nose, and
I was about to ask you to throw her under the bus. Just to test if she's going to watch this or not.
Yeah. No, she's good, and she represents the general consumer side, which I think is important because I can just delve straight in and get caught up on specific flavors and aromas and acidity and
Bit of cellar
and
palate.
Brett and while I trust my own palate, it's really nice to get the refreshing perspective of someone who's learning, but represents represents the punter. So I think between her and I, we do a good job. I think it's always good to have more people at the table. I think further down the track, would like to incorporate more people, but yeah, at the moment, it's just us.
Well, it's working. Is Hannah doing all the labels?
Yeah, she's all the branding and the marketing and the logo and
Awesome. I love both. I love the lavender label is beautiful, and now that we know the story of the around the table, awesome stuff, Hannah. If you're listening, I'm sure she is. We've just cracked the final beer, Reflection.
Yes.
Which is the saison on nectarines. What I wanted to touch on a little bit is, I guess, where you see yourself going. So, we've talked a little bit about what you want to do, and I guess sort of some of the early constraints on you guys, just size-wise, because, you're probably, I think, between you and Jakey from Ballistic, the youngest breweries we've had, or blenderies we've had on the show, which I think is super exciting.
It is, yeah.
But if, Ali will talk about the near term in a minute, the next 12 months, but I want to sort of jump ahead a little bit. If I was like to ask you where you guys will be in 5 years and what kind of beer you're putting out.
Jeez, okay.
So, it's July 2026, 5 years. This company, I think, based on the product, is still going, obviously. What kind of beer are you putting out? Like, what are you and Hannah doing with the business? Like, where are you at in 5 years? Where's the dream?
The dream is, first and foremost, to have our own place. I mean, we're itching to have our own spot. Whether or not that means we have a brewery or we just continue to do what we're doing at the moment. As long as I could brew it, I feel I wouldn't be comfortable with, not that I don't trust anyone, but I enjoy the brewing part, so I would never want to give that up.
Yep.
You want to
I want to make my own work. So as long as I could do that,
Yeah.
I'd be happy not to have a brewery. And if that fell down the track, then we may look at ours. But just a tap room, we're itching to host people and convey our story and put our spin on the taproom experience. Beers wise, we'll be making saison till we die. and many
Makes me so
and many variations of it. Hoppy saison. We've just put a beer de coupage in bottle, which we're pretty excited about. So that was the first time we took beer out of the puncheons. So they've been sitting there for a year. So we did 60% like fresh stainless saison with 40% like old puncheon stock. So we expect there'll be a little bit of acidity in there. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
those kind of styles. We definitely want to keep toying around with fruit re-fermentation. And when we have our own space and our license changed, we want to delve into natural wine because I've still got all that background. We want to blend the two. I really like the idea of wine hybrids. Aging beer on skins and co-fermenting juice with saison.
There's a huge thing that hasn't happened there in that space.
And after just jumping on the natty wine train, I can say I'm very excited about that. So please do that.
Yeah. So there. That's my train of thought. And I'm a huge fan of lager. So if we have our own space, and our own tank, and I definitely want to make proper lager. I want to do single decoction and make Czech pills and go down that kind of route.
Hold yourself.
So I think ideally, if money permitted, like we'll just make lager and saison.
We've already found our Patreon's new favourite brewer.
This is nice. This is the kind of energy I get. This is great. It's got me
We know
right up and about.
we know exactly who in the group will be up and about.
Ooh, yeah.
There's a few of them.
Yeah, there's actually quite a few. I'm like, which one?
Yeah, true.
Well, we touched on the long-term project. I know Clem said 5 years. If we could just bring that into...
I was looking into the future.
Yeah, I want to bring that into at least 3, but, that's up to Casey here. But in the next 12 months, Casey, where do you see yourself and what do we expect from you guys on the beer front in the next 12 months?
Yeah, the next 12 months, we're focusing on upping our production. We just came in and tested the waters, and we've had pretty good feedback so far. We wanted to start small and just go up, because there's no point in brewing thousands of liters and finding out no one wanted to drink it. So it's been good. So we'll just keep scaling up. We'll start doing 500 liter batches. We want to do a bunch of stainless saison. I want to start doing like dry hop saison and not necessarily always have Brett. I mean, all our beers have had Brett so far, so it'd be nice to get a couple of clean products out there. And yeah, we've got a little farmhouse IPA in the works coming up. Han and I are going to be bottling that on Saturday. Fermented with Kvaik, dry hop with Galaxy and Mosaic, and conditioned with Brett. So we're gonna get that into bottle.
Okay.
Got a couple of beer guards in barrel at the moment that have been resting on the lees for about 6 weeks. So we'll be planning on bottling those in the next couple months, and then just keep ticking along. I mean, we're really into the low ABV like table beer scenario at the moment. So
please.
Yeah, I have had the table beer as well. I forgot to mention that. It's bloody great too.
Actually, no, I did see.
Please keep the table beer flowing. Please and thank you. It is great. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, so we did a table beer, which we love. I mean, those are the styles we like to drink. Again, just dry, crisp, funky, bitter. Have a couple and you don't fall off your seat. So we'll probably do another iteration of that. We've got another couple of fruit beers in bottle at the moment. We did a blend of barrels aged on raspberries from the same orchard up in Woori-Yallock.
It all sounds good, doesn't it?
And we did a blend of saison aged on red flesh plums. So we've got those in bottle, and I think to put it short, the next 12 months we'll just be ramping up and trying to get a bunch more product in bottle, because I kind of knew it at the start, but what we've found is with these kind of beers and with bottle conditioning, and we don't, it's anywhere from 4 to 13 weeks before we're happy with the product in the bottle. You've just got to sit on a whole bunch of packaged product.
You've got to back yourself, and that's like kind of scary, especially with a new business. Like, you've really got to back yourself. Yeah,
so we need to just keep packaging, and then where we get to a point where we can go, all right, these two are ready this month, or this one's ready this month, but to do that, we just gotta keep it up. And we've got, we put our first beer into barrel last May, so we've now got some good stock to work with and some good fresh stock to work with. So I think we're at a good point to just keep turning them over.
Have you considered doing a like a club style thing? Like, we've got Dollar Bill doing the society. You've got Wildflower doing, for their more experimental stuff. But have you thought about, you guys are so young, and you kind of want, as a brewery, I mean, you kind of want all of that beer getting out quickly and sort of bringing some funds in. Not, you got to bring the business side of it in from time to time, bringing some funds in so you can build up that stock and get to the next stage. Because, I assume at the moment this is quite a small amount of beer. Have you thought about trying to pursue that, or you just want to leave it open to everyone to start with? Like, what's the vibe there?
Yeah, we have. We've definitely thought about that, and it's definitely on our radar. Hopefully towards the end of the year, we put out a little Instagram poll to see if anyone would be interested, and we got some pretty good results. And I've always thought about that. I really like the concept, and yeah, like you say, it's a pretty good way to get a bit of upfront capital to maybe buy a new tank or do some more experimentation. So I think we will. It'll be small. It'll be small. I'm thinking, 20, 20,
Well, tr-
20.
trying these beers, like, I want in, like, fucking awesome. Like, and I don't want to forget how good they are and not order them. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I love about, like, I've got a whole row of dollar bill down over in the corner here.
It's all right, mate. It's all good. No.
Rare Oak Society, I'm about it. But, Rare Oak and, Van Diemen, Wildflower, I feel like there's some more we're missing. It's a good way to get people talking about your brand, like they become your champions, like, and it just seems like a no-brainer for this kind of beer.
Yeah, cheers, man. Yeah, we will. I think later towards the year, once we figure out, what we're offering and what we can do in terms of, volume and product. But I think it'll be anywhere between like 25 and 30 people. So it'll be pretty exclusive. Maybe heading up to 50. But yeah, it's definitely something that's on our radar and that we will pursue. So we'll let you know.
Yes, please. I was going to say, please do let us know.
Black Arts, that was the one I was forgetting.
That's the one.
That was my first one I entered.
Yeah.
Black Arts.
Yeah. Amazing.
Well, I'm excited.
I feel good.
I'm very much liking this
Well,
nectarine too.
let's keep this good energy going, and why don't we make Casey give us his Gabs pitch, shall we? That sounds all right, doesn't it?
Let's get it done.
Let's bloody do it.
Give us your Gabs pitch. I want it now. I want it good. Give us your Gabs pitch. Please and thank you.
When do I fade this out? Because it's just so. It's just
You're really,
I'm in control now. I
You're
can
actually
just,
appreciating old Wego tonight. There's no fuck wigs tonight, boys.
I've got all this. I've got all this slider. Look, I probably should fade out there. It's quite raw.
It is great work. We played it in full for Chelsea, and she enjoyed it a lot, and we all had a dance. So we don't need to play it in full ever again.
Okay, yeah, it's quite long. Music video still coming soon. That's all I have to say. I'm sure Casey got right up and about that. He really looks fired about that. So may I say no more. Casey, he's actually probably nervous because he's got to give us his Gabs pitch. I'm sure you know how this works, Casey, but I'm going to run it through anyway. This does not have to be a beer you have to make. It just has to be a beer that you think will actually take out the best beer at Gabs, People's Choice.
Have I told you that what I'm going to do with this, though?
What?
Once we get to 100, we're having a Gabs Hottest 100
that's a
of
good
all
idea.
the pitches.
Okay.
It'll happen.
So the pressure is, and now actually on Casey, you've got pitch us a beer that you think. Just jam it with us. We'll help you out. We won't, but we'll say we will. And see where it lands. Go for it.
Well, I don't think this is the answer you'll be looking for because I think I'm a bit cynical about the subject. So
Oh, good.
I think I'd just do
Yes,
I think I'd just do a Munich Helles and not really care about it.
Yes. Why is it all the time in barrel brewers don't give a fuck? They're all like, so far, what? So one of them was like, I'm going to do a pale ale and call it pale ale, and I was like, yes. But a Munich Helles now we've had a beer made out of grapes with 0 hops or malt called wine, served still.
Oh Jesus!
I wanna-
you know what? I just wish these beers would actually happen
I actually
at
want
Gabs because I was really searching for something I wanted to drink at Gabs this year. It was rough.
Someone was telling me about. Sammy was telling us about the Wayward Powerade beer today, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't try that at Gabs." And I was like, and then I thought back, and I was like, "I didn't try any Gabs beers except."
You know what I said
Currumbin
about that
Valley.
beer? I had a sip of Emily's after I produced it. And I said, it might not have been actually Wayward's, but it was still a blue beer. And like, this
No, that
tastes
was batch.
I was like, this tastes like a Powerade from Wish. So,
But yeah,
give me that real Powerade, please.
Gabs is about catching up with people, not about drinking the paddles.
Hey, if there's a Munich Hells on offer from Sobremesa, I will be putting that in my face.
I want to try your lagers now. Now I'm intrigued. Very intrigued.
Yeah.
You should collab with someone that loves lagers and give us a taste of what you can do.
Yeah,
Chris Farmer's in our Friends and Homies, which you will be in at the end of this show.
Yes.
So if you wanna, oh Jesus,
get excited.
link up with him. I don't know why I did that.
Or pop down to Tassie and
Pop down to Tassie. Ooh,
and
bit of an Albert collab.
go and see the newly freshly named Albert, which was Bocamp.
Bocamp previously.
Which have now opened as of
Oh, yeah.
time of airing, and have some very lovely.
You're going to edit back into the timeline that do we love them or not, or I don't know.
I
yet.
can't. I will not say until I've actually put the beer in my face in person. But yes, there is now a lager focused brewery in Tassie as well. So you might pop down, do a little collab. That'd be nice.
Yeah, we've been meaning to cross the ditch. Hannah and I have never come over, so yeah.
We would absolutely love to host you down here. It would be our pleasure. I think you'll like Tassie. It's got a lot of your vibes.
Yeah.
Mixed culture. Tassie is a mixed culture haven.
It really is, isn't it?
We just don't have a great deal. We've only got the few. But it's fine. We've got some good ones.
An inclusive group.
It is an inclusive group. Now, this has been Time and Barrel as presented by Carwyn Cellars and Voyager Craft Malt Australia. We thank them for their support and love. Oh, I can't wait to tell everyone what we're doing with those two brands.
Oh, it's so exciting. Well, you sort of did earlier, but that's fine.
Oh, I only told a little smidge.
Yeah, okay.
There is some huge stuff happening, and it will involve Time and Brewers, Time and Barrel Brewers from 2 seasons.
Yeah, okay.
So I can't say anything else, but I'm very, very grateful for the support we are as a show. Thank you to producer Em for putting together run sheets and background info and cheeky little messages from her.
Producers don't get enough shout outs, so
No,
glad
they
we're
don't.
doing that.
They don't.
That's great.
And little run sheet notes from herself on which beer she loves. Love that energy. Casey, thank you for the beers. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for talking, telling your story. Is there anything you want to close out with for listeners?
Nah, just thanks for getting us on. Yeah, we really appreciate it. We're stoked to come on and big fans of the show. And yeah, cheers to anyone that's drunk our beer so far. And yeah, I've been drinking the table beer, so it's good.
Good man.
I thought that's what you had in glass, a little lacy glass, more lace than my nana.
Oh dear.
It has been an absolute pleasure. I'm fired up about this brand. The 5-year thing has me all kinds of excited. I hope listeners of the show will jump online. I think Sobremesa beer is where you can get it from the website. You can also get it from the Great Beyond Coburg.
You can, and several other great bottle shops. I'm sure Carwyn maybe have some. I don't know.
Our good mates. Very good. Well, this has been lovely. Thank you for being here. Casey, again, thank you. Thank Hannah as well for the wonderful beers that we've got to share tonight. And we will see all of you on the next episode of Time and Barrel, which is coming soon.
Toodaloo. Oh,
Good energy there.
Well, I just realised because I'm still on the desk, I better press put the slider up. There we go.
Sorry, that just kept going on and on and on.